welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Tatia. We have with us Mr. Narayanan Suresh Krishnan, MD, along with Mr. Sabaleel Nandy, CEO at Paradeep Phosphates, joining in. Welcome to the show, gentlemen, and a pleasure to have you on the show as well. And firstly, congratulations to achieve this milestone with regards to where going public goes.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. My first question coming to you is if you could just give us details, firstly, in terms of the IPO.
Well, we are looking at a total offering of close to 1,500 crores in the IPO, of which 500 crores is going to be the offer for sale, which is the entire shareholding of Government of India in this company, which is going to be offered, along with a marginal stake being offered by Zuari Morocco Phosphate, which is the promoter company to meet the expenses of the offer for sale being made by Government of India. So that is the primary part, which is the OFS part. As far as the primary part is concerned, it is about 1,000 crores, which is being used in three buckets. The first bucket is going to be about 25%, which will be towards reducing debt in the company, existing working capital debt that is being reduced to provide for a long-term money for that. The second bucket is towards the general corporate purposes, which we are going to be having. Between these two, the total allocation is 500 crores. And balance close to 500 to 550 crores is being spent for acquiring an asset which is based out of Goa for increasing our phosphatic capacity in the country.
Right. So overall, as you mentioned, in terms of the utilization of the proceeds from the fresh issue is towards three segments. One is financing the acquisition of the Goa facility, repayment and probably prepayment of certain working capital borrowings, and general corporate purpose, right?
Yes.
So overall, with all of this said and done, in terms of Paradeep Phosphates as well, clearly we're into manufacturing, trading, and distribution of a variety of complex fertilizers like DAP and NPK. If you could just highlight a few more details in terms of the business structure and strategy.
Well, in terms of Paradeep Phosphate is concerned, it is a 1.2 million ton capacity as we started the journey in this financial year. On the date of filing of the RHP, which is December 31st, 2021, our capacity has already increased to 1.5 million tons. As part of our strategy, we are our focus is to get our capacity from 1.2 to 1.8 million tons at Paradeep. Along with it, we also wanted to do backward integration, wherein we were increasing our capacity of phosphoric acid. What the capacity increase is going to do to us is one is the volume that we will get. And the second important thing is, along with the volume, our ability to produce number of grades of NPs and NPKs. So we will be a company which will be in a position to offer very specific grades as required by farmers. And some of these grades are growing at a very good pace because of the demand being such in India. That's the first one. And as part of the strategy, the acquisition that we're doing of the Goa facility will also ensure that we get 2 more trains of phosphatic fertilizer, adding 800,000 tons of capacity to us. And these trains are trains based out of Goa, wherein we get a number of very interesting specialty grade. Some are unique by nature, and some are very specific to the needs which are there in the farming community. With this strategy, we will be in a position to have close to 2.6 million tons of phosphatic fertilizer being manufactured by us between the two states of Goa and Paradeep in Orissa. But the more important thing is, with this acquisition and with this integration, we also become from an east-based company, east to a central India company, to a company which is going to be pan-India, presence right across mature markets in fertilizer, and will be in a position to reach pretty much all the states which are crucial for agriculture. And that's the big thing. And we also get very strong brand, our own brand of Navratna, and the Jai Kisan brand, which Goa facility markets the fertilizer. So this makes us a real powerhouse in terms of nutrient manufacturing in the country.
Right. So, with the acquisitions and with the growth that we're seeing, firstly, we will be adding newer products as well, right, in our portfolio?
Yes.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of where market share goes, where would we be right now?
When you look at it, the phosphatic market in India today, on an average, we get about 20 million tons of phosphatic fertilizer being made in India and sold, which includes DAP and NPKs. Of this, we were originally at 1.2 million tons. We are now moving to 2.6 million tons, which takes us to close to 13 to 14% market share. And based on availability that we get to see today, the fact that the imports are not available and the overall availability expected to be about 70 to 18 million tons, we believe that our phosphatic market share will, in any case, be maintained at around 15%.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of the strategic location of the manufacturing facility as well, what all geographical regions are we handling right now? And with the Goa facility coming in, what additional regions will we be able to cater to?
Well, our primary markets today are, if you look at it, it's being based out of east of India. We cater to the large markets of eastern UP. We are in Bihar, and we get into Orissa as a state itself, followed by Chhattisgarh and West Bengal. These are our key states in which we operate. Goa coming in gives us major depth in markets of Maharashtra. We are currently present only in Vidarbha, so we will get into the Marathwada region of Maharashtra, which is a very lucrative fertilizer market. Along with this, we will come to some key markets in Karnataka, which includes districts of Hubli, Bellary, and Belgaum, which are only can be effectively reached from the Goa side. And to top it up, Goa side also adds up a possible solid entry for us in the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, where it has always been present. And the common market that we'll get to explore will be the Madhya Pradesh market in central India.
Right. And overall, in terms of growth as well, will our focus be in targeting inorganic growth or organic growth simultaneously?
Well, we have a robust strategy, as we have seen, and we are already growing from an 1.2 million tons to a 3 million ton player over the during this financial year itself. And I believe that our first focus will be to complete this, and the free cash flow generation which comes over the next 12 to 18 months is what is going to be available to us to really take up the next stage of growth. I think our focus will continue to be fertilizer and agri inputs as a larger, broader category, and we will keep our capital allocation focused towards the same.
Right. And with all of this, do we see our cost efficiency and productivity improving as well, especially through the acquisition route?
Well, when you look at it, given that we are getting up in size at one location, ability to penetrate markets where we both the companies, units have been present, obviously gives us synergies in terms of cost saving, synergies in terms of leveraging our brands, and synergies in terms of working with people. So these synergies are going to be quite material as we go forward.
Right. And overall, from a financial perspective as well, what's the current growth, CAGR growth looking like for the company if you have to take the last 3 to 5 years into consideration?
I think it's important that in a commodity trade like ours, rather than looking at the top line, our top line is already at close to about 5,900 crores for the first 9 months. I think it's really important to see the volume. When you look at the volume, obviously from 1.2 million tons, we're going to 3 million tons. That's a very substantial increase in volume. And as far as some of the products that we are concerned, which are the NPK grade that we are going to be manufacturing, the growth of these products are about 8 to 9% in the markets in India. So we believe that we will be not only defend our market, we will be able to do better than the defending our market. So we would continue to look at growth from that perspective, which will not only come from the increased production that we have done today, will also come from the fact that our ability to source more material if needed. So we will grow, in my view, as the fertilizer market grows in India, our growth is going to be at least 100 basis points better than that.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of the farmers' outreach end as well, that's something where you have, a lot of things going on for the farmers in terms of training, soil testing facility, digitalization of agri services. Is it more of a CSR activity, or is it a part of a revenue generation stream?
Purely, I think it will be important for everyone, every stakeholder to realize that we as a company, we originate our demand from the farm and the farmer. So our basic focus is the farmer in all our activity. It has nothing to do with CSR. It is to do with our core business. And I will be very clear to state here that the success of the agriculture ecosystem entirely depends on the farm economy and the soil health. And the soil health finally decides how profitable a farmer is going to be if he is given the right guidance in terms of what crop and what nutrients that he needs to use. And this is exactly the play that we do. We have agronomists who are our field officers, who are there, who connect with the farmer, who guide the farmer in terms of what is required. We also have soil testing labs. We also have mobile soil testing lab, which actually even goes to the remote areas in the states of Orissa to ensure that we are able to get the right kind of data and are in a position to provide the right input for the farmer. So I think that's the way we go about our business. So Farmer Connect is something which is very core to our activities.
Mm-hmm. Right. So overall, from a business operations perspective as well, how does the distribution chain function for us?
Yeah, I think I'll ask my colleague Sabaleel to enumerate this here.
So in terms of the distribution chain, both the inward distribution chain and the outward distribution chain. So as a nation, India is not a resource owning nation when it comes to the raw materials related to phosphatic manufacture. So the main raw materials are, say, phosphates is about N, P, and K, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. So none of these three raw materials India as a nation has. So we need to import ammonia. We need to import either phosphoric acid or rock phosphate. We also import MOP. As far as PPL is concerned, we have got long-term contracts for all the three raw materials. When it comes to, say, ammonia, we have long-term contracts with some of the world's largest players. When it comes to phosphoric acid and rock phosphate, we are exclusive with our promoter, which is OCP. OCP, in fact, is one of the world's largest players when it comes to phosphates. Their website, and we have mentioned this in the RHP as well, they control or they own something like 70% of the world's known phosphate reserves. 70% of the world's known phosphate reserves is what they control. And so we are completely exclusive with OCP for all our P requirements. Again, for K, we buy from a whole host of players, starting from the Canadians, Canpotex. There are the Jordanians. We used to buy from Belarus as well. The Israelis are there. So it's a global marketplace from where we source all our raw materials. When it comes to the outbound logistics from us, it is typical to what any fertilizer player in the country does, which is we sell to a wholesaler and then to a retailer and finally to the farmer. The whole process related to outbound is actually automated. The government of India has put in a system which we all have implemented, by which a fertilizer bag can actually be tracked from the time it leaves the factory gate right up to the point that a farmer buys the bag in a machine called the point of sale machine, POS machine. And once that farmer buys, the corresponding subsidy amount actually gets credited into the manufacturer's accounts, which is, say, our account. That's how the outbound supply chain works.
Right. And with all of this said and done, in terms of the debt to equity as well, after repayment, where would it stand?
Well, if you look at it, we are at less than one to one debt equity. I mean, as on the date of filing of the prospectus, our net worth was 2,189 crores, against which our net debt was about 1,500 crores. So we're doing, and we believe that our debt levels are going to be maintained at these levels going forward.
Okay. And overall, in terms of acquisition as well, we said around 500 odd crores is something that we're looking in terms of expansion and acquisition.
Yes. Yes.
Any amount that has already been spent in terms of expansion so far?
Well, as far as the long-term money that we have spent for expansion so far is close to about 490 crores as of December last year. And the balance that we need to spend, close to about 200 crores to 250 crores, will be spent during this calendar financial year. So that will be the spend that we will be doing. And we are already tied up for all that spend in terms of long-term money.
Right. And in terms of the acquisition of the Goa facility, by when do we expect that to be completed? And when do we see revenue accretion from that facility? Well,
the acquisition will be completed within weeks of closure of the IPO, because the only amount that is payable is the amount that we will be getting from the IPO. So through that extent, it will be completed. And we are quite confident that within the first quarter of our acquisition, which will be in the first quarter post our IPO, the full benefits of Goa, both in terms of volumes and results, will start flowing into our books.
Right. And clearly, I know we can't really talk about forthcoming plans, but any key milestones that we are sure that we want to really look at in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, the key milestone that we want to look at is to be breaching the 3 million ton top line sales. That's the capacity that we have. And that's the key milestone that we have for us as management.
Right. So that's 300 million tons of
3 million tons, 3 million tons of
tons.
fertilizers.
Right. So, I mean, and that's over the next 3 to 5 years, right?
So that should happen in a year's time.
Yeah, by the end of this year, we'll be at 3 million. Last year, when we were, as of March 2021, we were at 1.2 million, which is 12 lakhs. As of now, we are at 15 lakhs of run rate that we have. The acquisition of the Goa plant will take this 15 lakhs to 27 lakhs. And then the remaining part of the organic expansion that we do, we'll add another 3 lakhs to it by end September of this year. So we will be moving by early October to 3 million ton of run rate, which is a massive expansion from a 12 lakh tons or 1.2 million, we will be moving to 3 million.
Right. It's more than doubling in terms of sales as well, which is a great aggressive strategy. But thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan, as well as Mr. Nandy, for joining us on the show. Pleasure. Good luck for the IPO. Congratulations once again. And again, good luck for the coming quarters and for a fantastic growth strategy that everyone's envisioning for you as well. And stay safe.
Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.